Hello dear students, today I will discuss part 3rd of Unit 7 D and F block elements. As in previous lecture, that is part 2, I told you about some general property of D block elements. These properties are atomic and ionic radii. Then I told you about atomic volume and density. Then I told you about melting points, boiling points, metallic characters, magnetic property and color of D block elements and their compounds. In that lecture, I also told you that about the magnetic property. If all the electrons are paired in d orbitals, in that condition, the compound or element of D block behave as diamagnetic. But if one unpaired electrons are present in d orbital, in that condition the element and their compounds are paramagnetic in nature. This I also told you that the more the number of unpaired electrons, more will be the paramagnetic character. Then about color, I told you that the D configuration having D0 and D10 are colorless, but D1 to D9 are colorful. This is due to D transition of electron. Some more thing I told you that in sometimes the electrons in d orbital is 0. In that condition, the compound is also colorful. So this is also due to charge transfer spectra. So these things I told you in previous lecture. Now dear students, let us start part 3rd. So after studying part 3rd, you will be able to know enthalpy of atomization, that is the energy required to break the metal lattice so that the atoms get free. Then you will be able to know about ionization enthalpy. This is also known as ionization energy. Here the metals in gaseous state are converted into ions by giving the energy. Then I told you about that the formation of non-stoichiometric compound and interstitial compound. About this compound, the space between the metal lattice is known as interstitial space or voids. If any small size elements are inserted in that voids, so now the compound is also known as interstitial compound. Then I told you about the alloy formation. So that means if the difference in atomic radii having 15%, so one metal can replace the other metal and form alloy. So here this also discussed. Then complex formation, when the D block elements react with the ligands which can donate electron pair, so they form a complex. So this also you have to know in this lecture. Then about catalytic property, how the transition elements and their compounds behave as catalyst. Then oxidation state, that means the D block elements show variability. So you have to know about the reason behind the variability of oxidation state. So these all topics are discussed here, and these are most important for examination point of view. So now dear students, listen the PPT video carefully, write a better note with the help of also NCERT book, so that you can get 100% marks in board exam. So now dear students, let us focus on the first topic, enthalpy of atomization. Now you can note down the symbol of enthalpy of atomization is delta A H naught. Here delta means change, A means atomization, H means enthalpy, naught means in standard condition. So let us explain about this. It is basically the energy required to break down the metallic lattice so that the atoms get free. So that's why this enthalpy is known as enthalpy of atomization. Look at here. Transition elements have high enthalpy of atomization or sublimation. Sublimation here means the conversion of solid to gas state. The energy provided is known as sublimation energy. So because of large number of unpaired electrons in their atoms, they have stronger interatomic interaction and hence a strong metallic bond is present between the atoms. So that is the reason behind the high enthalpy of atomization. Again listen, the more the number of unpaired electrons, stronger will be the metallic bond and higher will be the enthalpy of atomization. So now students, some more noteworthy points you have to note it down about the enthalpy of atomization is that the transition elements except Zn, Cd and Hg are much harder and less volatile. That's why they exhibit high enthalpy of atomization. Basically, the maximum value lies at about middle of each series, indicating the interatomic interaction increases with the number of unpaired d electrons. Some more points you have to note down that the metal of 4d and 5d transition series, that is second and third transition series, have greater enthalpy of atomization than the corresponding elements of first 3d series. So this is due to much more frequent metal-metal bonding in their compounds. So one question may be arises, why the enthalpy of atomization of 3d and 4d elements are much greater than 3d elements. So in that condition, you can write the answer. This is due to more frequent metal-metal bonding in their compounds. So these are all about enthalpy of atomization. Now second most important topic also, ionization enthalpy. That symbol is delta IH naught. So dear students, the first enthalpy of ionization of d block elements are higher than those of s block elements and are lesser than those of p block elements. As you know that d block come between s and p block elements. So that's why if you follow the regular rule, so from left to right, enthalpy of ionization increases. This is due to decrease in atomic size. Now next point, the enthalpy of ionization of 3d and 4d series, that is first and second transition series, are irregular but increases across the series, while those of 5d series are much higher than 3d and 4d elements. So this is basically because of weak shielding effect of nucleus by 4f electron in 5d series, which result in greater effective nuclear charge acting on the outer valence electron. So that is down the group, enthalpy of ionization should be decreases, but here 5d series have more enthalpy of ionization than 4d series. This is due to lanthanide contraction. So this is also very important points regarding the enthalpy of ionization. Now the students, next point you have to note it down that in each series, that is either 3d series, 4d series, 5d series, 6d series, the element of group 12, that is Zn, Cd and Hg, have the highest value of their ionization energy, that is enthalpy of ionization, and this is due to, you can find also that due to extra stability associated with their completely filled n-1d and ns orbital. So this you can also find from the electronic configuration, that is zinc have outermost filled electron, that is 3d, 10 and 4s2. Similarly, cadmium have 4d10, 5s2. That's why they have more enthalpy of ionization. So maybe this type of question may be arises, that why the zinc, cadmium and Hg have more enthalpy of ionization in each series. So this is due to completely filled n-1d and ns orbitals. Now dear students, next point you have to note it down that the second enthalpy of ionization of first transition series increases almost regularly with increase in atomic number, but in some place, that is the value of Cr and Cu are sufficiently higher than those of their neighbors. So this is due to stable configuration of Cr plus, that is have 3d5 configuration half filled, and Cu plus that have 3d10 completely filled configuration. So that means the second electrons, when you remove, in that condition the second enthalpy of ionization is much more for chromium plus and copper plus. So this is due to half filled and full filled stability. Now the students, some more point we noted down that sometimes this type of question may be rises. Nickel 2 plus compound are found to be thermodynamically more stable than platinum 2 plus, whereas Pt4 plus compound are more stable than Ni4 plus compound. So the reason is that the relative stability of Ni2 plus relative to Pt2 plus and that of P4 plus relative to Ni4 plus can be explained as follows. So look the table. Here metals are given, nickel and platinum. Enthalpy of ionization given IE first plus IE second in kilojoule per mole. So look at here. The IE1 plus IE2 have enthalpy of ionization for nickel is 2490 and for platinum is 2660. So here the lower value for nickel 2 plus. So that's why nickel 2 plus is more stable than Pt2 plus. But now the 4 enthalpy, that is Pt4 plus and Ni4 plus. So look the enthalpy of ionization in case of platinum 4 plus, the enthalpy of ionization is 9360, but for nickel is 11290. So that's why Pt have less enthalpy of ionization in Pt4 plus. So that's why Pt4 plus compound can be formed than Ni4 plus compound. That means Pt4 plus compound are more stable than Ni4 plus compound. Friends, let us explain the third topic, formation of non-stoichiometric and interstitial compound. So about interstitial compound, you can think about that D block element plus small non-metals, this will give interstitial compounds. So this I also told you about interstitial defect in solid, and also I told you about the type of solution that is also known as interstitial solution in unit second. So let us focus here about interstitial compounds. Transition metals or elements form interstitial compound. This is because of interstitial voids, that is also known as empty space, or interstitial sites is similar to size of non-metal, that is carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, etc. Hence they can easily accommodate in the vacant space which are present between the crystal lattice. Hence these transition elements become rigid and hard. Now look the example. For example, steel and cast iron are hard because of formation of interstitial compound with carbon. This you also know that steel is made up of from iron plus a small amount of carbon, and also some more elements are added. So this is also example of interstitial compound. Now dear students, some more points you have to note it down that these are usually non-stoichiometric and are neither typically ionic nor covalent. So these are non-stoichiometric in nature. This is because they do not follow the common rule of valency. So I also told you about the non-stoichiometric defect in solid state. So you can understand about this from that chapter. Now dear students, some more points you have noted down that about the interstitial compounds. These compounds have similar chemical properties as the parent metal, but differ appreciably in their physical properties such as densities, hardness, and conductivity. Here some examples are given. Look the example, vanadium H 0.56. So look at here, they do not follow the common valency, so that's why they are known as non-stoichiometric compound. One more examples, Fe 0.940. I also given this example, a non-stoichiometric compound defect in solid state, and TiH 1.7. Some common examples which are related to non-stoichiometric compound and also a type of interstitial compound. Now dear students, let us focus on the fourth topic, that is known as alloy formation. To look about this I also told you in chapter 2nd that solid form one solution that is known as alloy. To look at here, due to similarity in atomic size, atoms of one transition metal can easily take up position in the crystal lattice of the other in molten state and miscible with each other, forming homogeneous solid solution and smooth alloy on cooling. So that's why this is also example of solid solution of unit 2 chapter solution. So such alloy are found by atoms with metallic radii that are within about 15% of each other. So that means if they have radii about 15% of each other, so one transition elements can take the place of other transition element, and hence they can form alloy. So now students, let us focus some more examples. The alloy. To look the example, when Mn is dissolved in molten iron and the solution is cooled, so then manganese iron alloy is obtained. So look the diagram here. So dear students, let us see the diagram given here. Atoms of metal M and atoms of metal M dash. So here atoms of metal M dash replace the atom of metal M. This is example of alloy. This happens when two elements are mixed up, so they form alloy. One can take the place of other metal. This is because they have the difference in atomic radii approximate 15% of each other. Now some more point to note down that such alloy are hard, have high melting points, and are more resistant to corrosion than the parent metals. Now some examples of alloy is given. Bronze is made up of by copper and tin. Here the percentage also given. Then brass is made up of by copper and zinc. Then gunmetal made up of copper and zinc plus tin, having the percentage ratio 87:3:10. Then German silver, copper plus zinc plus nickel, having the ratio 2:1:1. Some more points you have to note it down about alloy, that is alloy containing mercury as one of the constituent elements are also known as amalgam. So many times the term amalgam came in the chemistry, just you have to know about the amalgam. Then the purpose of making alloy, so sometime maybe one question arises, why the purpose for making alloy? So listen here, the purpose of making alloy is to develop some useful properties which are absent in the constituent element. So dear students, these are all about alloy. Now let us focus on the fifth property, that is complex formation. This is also known as coordination compound. So look at here, Rn2 plus when react with 6Cn minus, so they form a compound. This compound is called complex compound. So this compound is written like this. So look at here, iron is a transition elements this behave as central atom, and Cn minus behave as ligands. It donate electron pair to the iron having the vacant d orbitals, and that's why they form a complex compound. So this is all about complex formation. Now what you have to know in this complex formation? Most of transition elements form complex compound due to small size, then high charge density, then presence of d orbitals of suitable energy to accept the lone pair of electrons donated by ligands. Here just like a Cn minus donate electron to Rn2 plus, and thus can form ligand metal coordinate bond. So nowadays students, transition metals ions form a number of complexes in which the central metal atom or ion is linked to a number of ligands. Here ligands behave as Lewis base and central metal ion or atom behave as Lewis acid. Here one question arises which are related to this topic, that is why transition elements form complex compound. Your answer should be like this. This is due to small size, high charge density and presence of vacant d orbitals. So this is your answer for this type of question. Now about the detail of complex formation, that is complex compound, you have to study chapter 8, that is complex compound. So now students, next topic, that is catalytic property. So about catalyst, I told you so many times in the previous lectures about catalyst, that is the topic catalyst came in surface chemistry. It is also came in chapter 4, that is chemical kinetics. So now here you have to know about some more property which are related to d block elements. So now first of all you have to know about that most of transition elements are used as catalyst. This is due to first partially filled n-1 d orbitals, second variable oxidation state, and third ability to change in oxidation state frequently. So this is your answer when one question is asking that why the transition metals and their compound show catalytic property. So your answer should be like this: due to partially filled n-1 d orbitals, then variable oxidation state, then ability to change oxidation state frequently. So now students, let us focus some more points about catalyst. Many transition elements such as cobalt, nickel, platinum, iron, molybdenum and their compound are used as catalyst because of following reasons. So first reason, because of variable oxidation state, they easily absorb and re-emit wide range of energies to provide the necessary activation energy. So this is the first reason of variable oxidation state. Second point, because of variable oxidation state, they are easily combined with one of the reactant to form an intermediate which react with the second reactant to form the final product. So look the reaction. Here iron 3 plus when react with I minus, it will form iron 2 plus plus I2. Now the iron 2 plus, that is Fe2 plus, again react with S2O8 2 minus, they will again change into Fe3 plus plus 2SO4 2 minus. So here Fe2 plus is intermediate and this will indicate that iron 3 plus work as catalyst because iron 3 plus in starting, that is in reactant side, and again the iron 3 plus is also found you in product side. So that means iron 3 plus do not change. This only show the variability of oxidation state so that the reactions can be proceed. So now again here catalysts do not change their chemical property, but due to variability of d block elements in their oxidation state, So they can show the catalyst property. Now the student, third point, because of presence of free valencies on the surface, they can absorb the reacting molecules, thereby increasing the concentration of the reactant on the surface and hence the rate of reaction. So these are the three basic reasons which I have given here in detail. So dear students, look the table. This table contains catalyst and the field where these catalysts are used. Here some important catalysts and their use are given here. So look at here. First, TiCl4 plus Al C2H5 का whole thrice. This is known as Ziegler-Natta catalyst, and for this catalyst he got the Nobel Prize. He used this catalyst in the polymerization of ethylene, that is preparation of high density polyethylene. So this reaction came in polymers. Now next catalyst, B2O5. This is used in the manufacture of H2SO4 in the process, contact process. Here SO2 change into SO3, which again dissolve in H2SO4 to form oleum, and by adding the water, now oleum change into H2SO4. So B2O5 work as catalyst in contact process. Now the iron, this reaction came so many times, that is Haber process. Here iron used as catalyst, and I also told you about the molybdenum, which work as promoters for manufacture of ammonia by N2 and H2. Then PD, this is also used in hydrogenation of alkene, alkyne, etc. That means addition of hydrogen to alkenes and alkyne so that it can be converted into alkane. Then PT or PTO, this is known as Adams catalyst. This is used for selective reduction. So about PT, here PT work as catalytic converter for cleaning car exhaust fume and also used in manufacture of H2SO4 in contact process. But B2O5 is preferred than PT because PT is costly and also they contains arsenic poison. So that's why B2O5 is used in preparation of sulfuric acid by contact process. Then again MnO2, it is also used in the catalyst for decomposition of potassium chlorate to O2. This I also told you in P block elements. MnO2 lower the temperature of decomposition. Here it work as catalyst. Then again copper chloride. This I also told you in P block elements. It is work in Deacon process for making Cl2 from HCl. So here copper chloride, this is the compound of transition elements, work as catalyst. Then PdCl2, it is also a compound of transition elements, work as catalyst in the Wacker process for converting ethine into ethanol. Look the reaction here. C2H2 plus water plus PdCl2. This will change ethine to ethanol plus 2HCl plus PD. Some more importance, transition metals and their compound which work as catalyst in so many enzymes. Some examples you can note it down that carbonic anhydrase. This I also told you that the enzymes contains H as a suffix. So by this way you can also find that the given name each enzymes are carbohydrates. So here carbonic anhydrase, this contains Zn2+, and this is used for regulation of pH and CO2 formation. Then carboxypeptidase, this also contains Zn2+. This is used in digestion of protein. Then hemoglobin, this contains Fe2+. The role of hemoglobin is, as you know that, O2 transport in higher animals, that is transportation of oxygen in higher animals like us. Then ribonucleotide reductase, this contains CO. This is used in biosynthesis of DNA. Then nitrogenase, this contains iron molybdenum. This is used in fixation of nitrogen. So these indicate that the importance of D block elements and their compound as catalyst. Now dear students, the last topic of this lecture is variable oxidation state. This is very important for examination point of view. Here one question arises, why the transition elements show variable oxidation state? The reason behind this is that the transition elements show variable oxidation state because the energy of ns orbital is very close to energy of n-1 d orbitals. Therefore, the electrons of ns and n-1 d orbitals can be used for bond formation. That is the reason behind the variability of oxidation state in case of D block elements. Now dear students, all the transition elements except the first and last member of each series exhibit variable oxidation state. For example, in case of 3D series, scandium is the first member and Zn is the last member of 3D series. That two elements do not show the variability of oxidation state. In case of scandium, it shows +3 oxidation state. This is due to noble gas configuration of argon, and Zn show +2 oxidation state. This is because of fulfilled 3d10 orbitals. That's why the region of similar elements in case of all first element of 4D series and 5D series and also last element of 4D and 5D series, that is the first member and last member of each series do not show the variability in oxidation state. Now dear students, next point you have to note it down that transition metals exhibit a wide range of oxidation state. When Ns electrons are involved, then compounds with lower oxidation state are formed, but in compound with higher oxidation state, n-1 d electrons are also involved. This also you have to know that why they show the higher oxidation state and when they show the lower oxidation state. One more point you have to note it down that except scandium, in case of 3D series, the most common oxidation state of first row transition elements is +2, which arises from loss of 2 electron, that is 2 electron from 4s subshell, that is after scandium. D orbitals become more stable, so s orbitals are remove electron very easily, and hence the common oxidation state of 3D series is +2 except scandium. Now dear students, look some more points. This is clear from the following table of oxidation state of elements of first transition series. Look the table. The stable oxidation state are in red. The rarer oxidation state are light blue are shown here. So look the member of elements of 3D series. The group number is also given here 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and elements is also given here. The group number 3rd contains first element scandium, 4 titanium, 5 group number contains vanadium, 6 group number contains chromium first element, 7 Mn, 8 Fe, 9 cobalt, 10 nickel, 11 copper, 12 zinc. So this is the about elements and their group number. Now look the oxidation state from scandium to Mn. The oxidation state increases from +3 to +4, +5, +6 and +7 because these is the basically group oxidation number and they involve the total number of Ns and n-1 d electrons. But after Mn, the stability of higher oxidation state decreases. So look at here the table properly. Here the red color of oxidation state shown here, which are more stable. So dear students, look at here properly. the maximum oxidation state of reasonably stability correspond to value of sum of Ns and n-1 d electrons up to Mn. That means this scandium contains 3 electrons. Now here also it shows the +3 oxidation state, and from titanium, vanadium, chromium and Mn. This also indicate the highest oxidation state, that is +4, +5, +6, +7 respectively. So this is also a group number oxidation state, that is Mn belong to group 7. That means it has also have highest oxidation state, that is +7. But after that the oxidation state decreases. This have to note it down also that, and Mn form +7 oxidation state with highest electronegative element, that is fluorine or oxygen. Now some more points to note it down that scandium is more stable in +3 oxidation state. They do not show the variability. This is due to noble gas configuration, just like argon. And similarly Zn do not show the variability in oxidation state. So this is also fulfilled d orbital configuration. The common oxidation state from titanium to zinc is plus. So from titanium to zinc they show the +2 oxidation state except scandium. So this is due to removal of 4s2, that is 2 electron from 4s orbital. They show the +2 oxidation state. So this is also the common oxidation state of 3d series. Now the red color indicate the stable oxidation state, that is chromium is more stable in +3, either +6 oxidation state. Similarly Mn is more stable in +2 and +7 oxidation state. That means this is due to either half filled or zero filled d orbital configuration. In case of zero filled oxidation state, that is chromium +6 and Mn +7, they show the noble gas configuration. So that's why they are more stable in +6 and +7 oxidation state. Similarly like scandium. Copper is also stable in +1, +2 stable oxidation state. +1 state is found due to D10 configuration and 4s1, but copper also is more stable in +2 oxidation state. So this is due to more the charge, more will be the hydration enthalpy. So that's why copper 2+ is stable. Now students, some more point you have to note it down about oxidation state of d block elements, that is transition elements. So note down this. In general, the minimum oxidation state by any transition elements is equal to number of ns electron. Then the first 5 member of each transition series, the highest oxidation state shown in general is equal to sum of ns and n-1 d electrons. Now next point, for the remaining 5 elements the maximum oxidation state is not related to their electronic configuration, just I have shown above. Now students, next point, the +2 oxidation state become more stable while the +3 oxidation state become less stable from left to right in the periodic table. Then one more point noted down that some transition elements also show an oxidation state of 0 in their compound, such as NiCO4. Here the CO is neutral compound, so that's why Ni have 0 charge. Then FeCO5, here again CO is neutral compound, they have 0 charge, so that's why iron is also contains 0 charge. So they show the minimum oxidation state. So these, that is CO is known as pi acid ligand. So NiCO4 is known as tetracarbonyl nickel and FeCO5 is known as pentacarbonyl iron. They both have oxidation state 0. CO is also known as pi acid ligands. Now dear students, next point you have to note it down about d block elements and their oxidation state. So the highest oxidation state by any transition elements is +8 in ruthenium, that is 4D series and osmium that is 5D series. So here Ru can be found like this, RuO4 and OsO4. In both conditions they have maximum oxidation state. Nowadays students, the highest oxidation state are shown by transition metals when they combine with most electronegative elements such as fluorine or oxygen. So look at the example CrO3. Here the Cr contains plus 6 charge, Mn2O7 this contains plus 7 charge on Mn, and BF5 this contains plus 5 charge on vanadium. This is the highest charge on the elements that I also shown you. One more question may be arises कि Mn can form Mn2O7 but MnF7 cannot be formed. So here your answer is like this. CO can be form multiple bond, that's why they can form Mn2O7. That means O2 due to formation of multiple bonds can be change Mn plus 7 state. This is not done by the fluorine. Even the fluorine is most electronegative than oxygen. So one question may be arises, so you have to write the answer in term of multiple bond formation by oxygen. Are you getting or not? Nowadays students, self-assessment test. So before that test, I also want to something about oxidation state. That means the compound in different oxidation state can be behave differently. That is, the oxide of transition elements in lower oxidation state are basic, intermediate oxidation state are amphoteric, and highest oxidation state are acidic in nature. For example, the lowest oxidation state, that is plus 2 and plus 3, the bond are mostly ionic, but in higher state, that is plus 6 and plus 7, bond is essentially covalent. So that's why they show basic nature, amphoteric nature or acidic nature depend upon the oxidation state. Some more point you have to note it down that the variability of oxidation state of transition elements is due to incomplete filling of d orbitals in such a way that their oxidation state differ from each other by unity. That means vanadium show plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5 oxidation state. But in case of non-transition elements, oxidation state differ by unit of 2. For example, Pb plus 2, Pb plus 4. Similarly, Sn2 plus or Sn4 plus. So these are about the transition elements and their properties are given here. So dear students, listen the PPT video properly and focus the topics which I have given in PPT video. So these all topics are very important for examination point of view. Again, that is variable oxidation state and as an enthalpy. These are the much more important for examination point of view. Nowadays students, self-assessment test. So first, transition enthalpy of 5D series transition metals are higher than those of 3D and 4D series. Explain. So this I told you in this lecture. So listen the PPT video properly and find the answer from this lecture. So now second question. The transition energy of first 5 member of 3D series increases with increase in atomic number and then become constant or irregular for next 5 member. Explain. This I also told you in the transition enthalpy. Now third question. The transition elements in their many compounds act as good catalyst. So this I also told you in catalyst topic. Nowadays students, do all work in classwork copy, prepared a note with the help of PPT video. Stay safe, stay healthy and keep learning. After listening this PPT video, you will be able to know about the condition of variability of oxidation state and the property generated by oxidation state in lower condition or higher condition, and also you are able to know about enthalpy of ionization and the property which depend upon enthalpy of ionization. So now dear students, prepared a note with the help of PPT video and also with the help of NCERT. Thank you dear students.